Listen, man, taking care of my chickens is one thing, but taking care of them while you're also dealing with two pretty bad injuries is kind of also pretty crazy at the same time. So today I'm about to be showing you guys how I actually managed to do that without hurting myself any further. But first, a little bit of background. So injury number one was by and far the most embarrassing one because this happened while I was out in public. So I was out at the bowling alley and bad approach, jammed my foot into the ground, and there went my right knee. That was fun because I injured it pretty badly and pretty much was immobile for like a whole week. Now, thankfully, it wasn't a really bad injury and I was back to normal within a little while, but I was still pretty sore. And just as soon as I thought I had gotten better, I was coming out of this area right here. I think it was, what, a week and a half ago? It was a Friday night. I was walking out of the chicken coop. I grabbed that water right there, and as I was walking out, I thought it would be a cool thing to see if I could squeeze through that small door. Now, I'm pretty skinny, right? So I think I can easily do that. Horrible mistake, and there went my hamstring. That was fun, and I'm still kind of recovering from that one right now. I still kind of got a little bit of an angle on my leg because of the injury I sustained with that one, but thankfully it wasn't nearly as significant. Two ridiculously embarrassing injuries, to say the least, but the chickens, they're not going to be waiting for you, man. They're going to be out there just needing you to be putting them away. So I'm about to show you how I dealt with them. We're going to go flock by flock here, and I'm going to go through my routine. So at the same time, I'm also going to kind of show you guys what I did and what you could also do if you deal with some minor but yet pretty annoying injuries like what I was dealing with here. So starting off over here, this is actually a really simple job because, well, this coop doesn't really have a lot of elevation. Now, the two things I struggle with when I got pretty badly injured, specifically with injury number one, which would be my MCL and LCL sprain. Yes, it's kind of a weird combination, but it somehow happened. And I'm gonna pretend like I'm surprised. But dealing with that, I still had to get into this coop to count up all the chickens. So how did I do that? This is not that high. I just kind of, and I also use that as some leverage right there to kind of get me into the coop. It wasn't really all that difficult. But what's more difficult is flock number two, which we'll get to in just a minute. Now, with these two injuries, my number one enemy wouldn't just be getting into these high places. My true number one enemy would be stairs. And oh boy, let me just say, stairs were my worst enemy for the last 3 weeks because I had to essentially grip the railings and pull my body weight. Now, I'm not pulling much. I'm pulling like 139 pounds at 5'10" up these stairs. It's nothing too crazy, but still, it's kind of a pain when you really, have to deal with all that. But it's almost as hard as getting up into the chicken coop, which I'll show you guys in just a second. But just grab the water and bring it down there. Now, water number two was kind of responsible for injury number two, but I'll talk more about that a little bit later. Now, do you see what I mean when I say that getting up into these chicken coops is a real pain? Because just take a look at this. So now getting into here is actually pretty simple and straightforward on any typical other day, but when you're injured, not so much. So I kind of had to use what we have here to get up into this chicken coop. So first of all, I had to get up onto here. Then I have to kind of just grip this door lock thing here and just kind of pull myself into here and hoping and praying that this is sustainable enough to sustain my weight, which it was every single time I tried doing it. Because just imagine on any other normal day, I could just do this, which is kind of a high rise from, down there, but it doesn't really matter because I was going up here to count all the chickens in here, which there is 26, I believe, last time I checked. But yeah, man, it was kind of a pain, but getting out of here after collecting all the eggs was one thing. Next thing I had to do was take the water out of here. Now, when I was injured, the one thing I utilized was a little sled. Now, I don't really use it now because I'm fine. I've mostly recovered from both said injuries, but I had to put a sled right there on the ground and I had to pull it all the way down there. Now, I make it sound like it's really difficult, but it's really straightforward. I literally just grab it and walk it down to the house. Simple as that. Now, there is one other small detail I'm forgetting to tell you guys about, but that's going to be a surprise for Wednesday's video. I'll leave it at that, man, because on Wednesday I'm going to be talking about something crazy that just went down in there. So, see y'all then. Be sure to click this video here on the center of the screen, which is last time it snowed here on the farm. Kind of a little bit of a different video than this, but it's all fun. It's whatever. So yeah, guys, I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Goodbye.